Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Today I'm going to be pulling the transmission out of the Land Rover, and I will tell you why I'm doing that. You might have saw some of the other videos on the Land Rover where I redid everything in the chassis, rebuilt the motor, went through the transmission, did a bunch of stuff in that, axles, brakes, a whole bunch of it's been done. I'll be putting more videos on about some of that soon, and hopefully you can catch up if you haven't seen them, some of it already. But the reason I'm pulling the transmission back out is because I fast dadded it. And that's the reason this channel is called Fast Dad Garage. It's because sometimes we get in a hurry and do stuff wrong. So that's exactly what I did. We wanted to take this thing for a shakedown run in Lower Michigan with my brother with the CJ5. You did see it. Hopefully you saw that video. It worked out pretty good. It ran fairly decent, but we had some different issues. So I fixed a bunch of that stuff. I'll show you that at some point. But the transmission, now that I've got it running actually really good, it'll go down the highway pretty decent. I mean, compared to the Jeeps, which I'm used to, like 50 something, really pushing it hard on the early Jeeps. This thing will go about 59 using my phone for the miles per hour. So it goes pretty decent. When it's running that good though, and going down the road, I noticed a bad noise in the transmission, a little bit of a vibration. When I did the transmission, and here's where the fast dadness kind of comes back in, did almost everything in it, but I had to order several different pieces. There's where the two shafts come together, I can't remember what it's called. I'll try to put that in a little flash here. Where those two shafts, the input shaft and then the next shaft behind that, there's a little bearing that goes in between those two. I didn't change that. I didn't get it in time. Like I said, I was in a hurry to try to get this thing done so we could take it for a shakedown run. I cleaned up the old bearing. It was mediocre, and so greased it up, put it all back together. So I'm pretty sure that's what's wrong. So I'm going to yank it back out, which is a ton of work. If you know anything about Land Rovers, the way that the frame is built, boxed, and welded, the transmission has to come out through the door area. So, all the seats have got to come out, seat box, floors, everything in the center, and so I will be showing you that today as I go ahead and start this project. It is fairly easy to get at once you pop the floor out. I am going to be changing the tank. That was an old tank. It does leak, so I did go ahead and buy a new one to replace it. You can see you can kind of get in pretty good to everything on the transmission. So first I'll knock off the U-joints, make sure the e-brake stuff is out of the way, probably take a few of the selector switches off, and I'm going to have, oh no, I can actually just get to the bolt. I might actually just take and drop those bolts and that one just to make it so it's a little more out of the way. So a few things along there to do to get this thing ready to yank out. So what I think is the easiest way to do this is I threw a jack under one wheel, made sure it was in two-wheel drive, and that way I can rotate to get to all the bolts for the rear drive shaft. Alright, well that was a total pain in the butt. If I remember right, it was a little bit of a pain in the butt though going together. So that makes perfect sense. So now on to probably I'll go ahead and remove the clutch slave cylinder first, get that out of the way, and go from there. Okay. So, it's out, it's hanging. I'm going to get it on a bench and start tearing it down. One thing I wish I would have done is taken out the sill or the rocker or whatever you want to call it on a Land Rover. I should look these things up, but I didn't. That would have made it a lot easier to climb in and out of it. Other little things that may have made things easier. I don't know. It went pretty quick. It was not that bad. Let me take you and show you what it looks like with it out. The clutch is all nice and new still. And actually I don't see any oil in the bottom there. So I'm pretty happy about that. The frame and everything, I did do a lot of cleaning and painting and just overall fixing up. But it's a little bit dirty because I did do some running around with it too. So in here, a new seal or a boot. Nothing seems to be leaking in here. Everything looks pretty respectable. So I'm pretty happy about that as well. And so I do have some leaks here though. It looks like I'm getting a little leak right in this area. I'm not super excited about how the gasket's all sealed because it does seem like I do have some leaks. Although the case here looks pretty good. So that doesn't look like it leaked too bad. The plug seems like it's dripping a little bit. Anyway, not horribly bad for having all new gaskets, but more than I would have thought. So this thing's going to get all cleaned back up when I take it apart. And we'll see how good it is when I put it back together. And maybe this time I can stop some of the leaks with just a little bit of sealant or something on it. I know a lot of the forums the guys are talking about putting sealant on them, so we'll see what we do. But that'll be the next video, getting this thing put on a bench and pulling it apart. So if you want to come take a look at that, I hope that video will be up very soon. Enjoy.